normal dissolution of partnership firm. So now student, we are going to discuss the practical aspects which are involved at the time of dissolution of the partnership firm. Now in that case, it is not like a normal reconstitution like admission, retirement or death, wherein we are going to make basically the revaluation account. Now in this case, we are actually going to dissolve the firm, and at this point of time the assets are going to be sold, the money will be received, the liabilities are going to be paid off, and then finally the amount will be distributed to the partners. So now what we are going to do, we are going to make in this scenario an account which is very important account, that is the realization account, to ascertain the profit or loss which arises at the time of the realization activities. Now let us understand what are the accounting entries to be passed in case of dissolution of the firm by partnership firm. The very important account making, that is the realization account, how it is made up, and then we will be also discussing the certain very important points. Now these all things are on your notes, so just try to understand with me what entries are to be passed. Now before the start of entries, there is obviously on the date of dissolution of firm, there is a balance sheet of the firm being given in the question. Now on that balance sheet, on the asset side there will be fixed asset, there will be current asset, there can be losses appearing on the asset side. On the liability side there will be capital of the partners will be there, there may be a partner loan, there may be outsider liabilities appearing. So these are appearing at the book values, however they will be realized or paid at somewhat different values. Now in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to find out the net profit or loss due to this activity. So first of all, what we are going to do, our entry number 1 is the transfer of assets to the realization account. Now our assets is having a debit balance and they are appearing at a book value. So what we are going to do, we are actually transferring all the assets at book value to the realization account, and the entry is realization to sundry assets account, and this entry is to be passed by the name of individual asset, because let's say plant machinery, furniture, stock, debtors, each and everything is there. So we are going to transfer each asset individually. We will not write two sundry assets, and these are be transferred at book value. So irrespective of the value, they are going to be sold, which we will discuss later on. We are transferring at book value, only then their account will get closed, and we do not transfer the certain things from the asset side. Fictitious assets, that's the losses actually, kind of underwriting commission, advertisement suspense, these are all losses which are appearing. P&L debit balance, again a loss. Cash and bank balance, because this is not realized, this is the available bank balance, okay, and the current and capital accounts having a debit balance. So these all things are not to be transferred, and there is also one line written, if any asset is such which is having a corresponding provision, then gross value is to be transferred. For this point I will discuss with later on this point. Now there is a realization account also. Now I am going to discuss an entry, then we are also going to see the posting, how it is getting appearing in the realization account. So in the realization account, the first part is realization to sundry assets. All the assets individually at book value we are going to transfer, and we are not going to transfer actually three things. One is your cash and bank balance, because that is the available balance, that is not realized as such. The losses which are there appearing on the asset side, P&L debit balance, or there is any advance to a partner being shown, or capital or current account debit balance, because these are to be shown in the partner's capital account or current account only, which we will be settling later on after the completion of realization account. So this is first entry, the transfer of assets individually at book value to realization account, so that their accounts gets closed and certain things are not getting transferred, okay. Then the second entry is the transfer of outsider liabilities to the realization account. So liability is having a credit balance, so how it is closed? By debiting it. So the entry is liabilities account debit to realization account, again by name of individual liabilities. Let's say there is a loan, outstanding expenses, creditor, each and everything, to be transferred at book value again, only then they will be closed. And we do not transfer the following things from the liability side, that is partner capital and current account balances, the reserves and surplus appearing, and partner loan account. Any provision appearing on the asset side is to be debited in this entry. So regarding provision I will be discussing later on, don't worry. Now we do not transfer certain things again from the liability side. The partner balances, there is a reserve and surplus, and partner loan account. So this entry is getting passed by sundry liabilities outsider only, individually again at book value, and three things not getting transferred: capital, current account balances, reserves and surplus, and partner's loan account. There is a specific reason for not transferring partner loan, because when we study the partnership act or when we go to the sequence wise payments, then the first outsider liabilities has to be paid, then the partner loan, and then the partner's capital are paid off, which we are going to understand in the topic of piecemeal distribution as well. However, this dissolution is taking place at a one go. Now in this case, sometimes it may be possible that partner is having a, let's say, debit balance in the capital account. So if he is having a debit balance in the capital account and we have taken a loan from the partner which is appearing on the liability side, then there is no point repaying that loan. Then in that case, that loan will be adjusted to the extent of the debit balance and the remaining is to be paid off. And also, if there is no debit balance, if there is a credit balance in the capital account, even then it is preferable that don't show your partner loan in the liability side, basically of the realization account credit side. Else also, even if we transfer, the realization profit will be exactly same, because you are going to transfer it, then you are going to pay it off. But we generally pay it off directly through the cash and bank account. We do not transfer it. Okay. So I am going to discuss another thing, that is about your partner loan. So that is the point which I was discussing, payment of partner loan. So the partner loan to capital account will be transferred to the extent of debit balance in the capital account, and the remaining is paid off. So with this, we have transferred maximum things to the realization account, barring few things which we have not transferred. Now the next thing is when we actually sell off the assets. So the money is actually being received. So at that time, what the entry is being passed is bank to realization account. So realization of all the assets, whether recorded or unrecorded, we have transferred only the recorded asset, but there may be a possibility that there is an unrecorded asset. That means asset is not shown in the books. However, we are realizing that amount at this time of dissolution. So that's a pure profit. So at the time when we are sold for cash, so the entry is cash and bank to realization. However, when they are taken away by the partners, means the partner has taken away that particular asset at a particular agreed value, then we are going to debit the partner capital. So later on the partner will be paid less to realization. So with this, your entry is actually by cash and bank, that is by cash and bank realized value or partner's capital taken over value for recorded as well as unrecorded. So with that, the money is being put in against the recorded value of the asset. We have put the realized value. Okay. So with that, ultimately we are able to get the net profit loss, rather than we are finding out the individual asset profit loss. By making this realization account, we are going to get obviously the combined net profit or loss due to this activity. The next thing is we are going to discharge of the liabilities. So the discharge of outsider liabilities, whether unrecorded or unrecorded. If they are discharged in cash, so the entry is realization to cash and bank. So the money is going out, we are passing into realization to cash bank. And when the partner agreed to discharge, then realization to partner capital, because in that case the firm owes no money to the partner. So this entry is appearing here, to cash and bank, partner capital, paid value in case of the payment, and taken over value in case the partner has taken over, and it is for unrecorded liabilities as well. And I have also mentioned here the dissolution expenses. Now the dissolution expenses are the expenses which are incurred during this course, because obviously the person who is actually involved in this activity, there will be certain expenses relating to auction, sale of assets, payment of liabilities. So all these expenses are related to this activity, so they will be obviously be reduced with the profit which we have earned or the loss. So to find out the net profit or loss, these expenses are put in the realization account, so that we can get to know the net amount after each and everything. So the realization expenses, if we study individually, there can be a different possible scenarios, like when the expenses are paid by the firm on its own behalf, means the firm is liable to pay and they have already paid, so the entry is realization to cash and bank. That's very normal. However, the expenses are paid by a partner on firm's behalf. That means the liability was of the firm, however the partner has paid it. So now the firm owes no money to the partner, so the entry will be realization to partner capital. The third one is when any of the partners agree to do the dissolution work for any agreed remuneration. Now let's say there is a particular partner and he has agreed to basically do the work for the dissolution, but a certain amount of fixed remuneration is to be paid. Now whatever the expenses he pay, the firm is liable to pay him a fixed amount of money. So for the firm, the total amount which has been fixed, that will be shown in the realization account, and it is due to the partner. So the entry is realization to partner capital. When the expenses are paid by a partner who has to bear such expenses, and in that case when the partner actually incurs the expenses, the firm was not liable, so the firm will not pass any entry. So let's say the firm has agreed with a particular partner, let's say Mr. A, that the firm is going to pay him 15,000 for this all dissolution work, and he has to bear the expenses, whatever may be. It may be less than 15,000, maybe more than 15,000. Now in that scenario, the firm is going to book a liability of only 15,000 due in favor of the partner. So the entry will be relation to partner capital 15,000. When later on the partner is paying the money from his own pocket, let's say 10,000. So for that the firm is not going to put any entry because that is being paid by partner and it was his liability. So in that case, for no entry in the books of firm. When the expenses are paid by the firm on behalf of a partner who has to bear such expenses. However, if the partner was liable to pay the amount, however, the firm paid the amount on his behalf, then the entry will be partner capital to cash and bank, because the firm has actually paid any dues of a partner on his behalf. So the cash and bank balance of the firm is getting reduced. However, we have to basically get the money from the partner, that's why we have debited him. So with this, your realization expenses part get over. Then at the end, the realization account will be closed and any profit or loss in the realization will be transferred to the partners in their profit sharing ratio. So if there is a profit, to realization to partners capital, and if there is a loss, there is a reverse entry, all partners to realization account. So in the realization account, in the end, any profit in the PSR to be transferred to partner capital or any loss will be transferred to partners capital in their PSR. So with this, the realization gets account over and we are able to find out the net profit or loss due to this particular activity of dissolution. Then the last part is the 8th entry, that is the accumulated profit losses. Any losses which we have not transferred anywhere, they will be transferred to partners capital account in the profit sharing ratio, because they are the old profits or losses which the firm has earned till the date of dissolution. So the balances which are appearing in the balance sheet, we have not transferred them to the realization account. We have discussed that in the first and second entry, and now they are transferred to the partners capital account. So general reserve or P&L to partner capital in the PSR, or if there are losses, so partner capital to miscellaneous expenditure to P&L debit balance. And later on, whatever is the cash available, that will be distributed among the partners, and with that your books of firm actually gets closed. The important thing is making of the realization account, student, okay, and finding out the profit loss. However, it's a very easy concept. Now there are certain points which are now involved here, which we are going to understand before we actually start with the question part. Now the first thing is debtor and provision for doubtful debt. So in the balance sheet, I am trying to explain you with the help of certain example. So let's say the debtors are appearing at 50,000 and there is a provision for doubtful debt which is already appearing of 3,000, and the net debtors are 47,000. Now in the realization account, will we transfer two debtors 47,000, or will we transfer debtors individually at 50 and provision for doubtful debt 3,000? Since provision for doubtful debt, student, is a separate account from the debtors and both the accounts have to be closed, so that's why we transfer debtors individually 50 and provision for doubtful debts individually 3,000. Only then the book values are getting closed, the accounts gets closed. Okay, so the debit balance of debtor is credited and the credit balance of provision for doubtful debt is debited. So that was the point which was written in first and second entry. If there is any asset which is having a corresponding provision, so that is actually accounted for it separately. That is actually being put in the entry of the liability. Even if you put 47, you will argue, sir, in that case the profit will be same. 50 or 3, we are putting it separately, 47, the profit will be same obviously. However, the impact will come if later on, let's say the question says you the debtors totally realize 90%. Debtors realize 90%. The question is not giving you the value. If the question is giving you value, let's say 47,000, 49,000, or let's say 46,000, then there is no problem, or even let's say 50,000. Then the buy bank will be putting that particular amount. But if the question says a percentage, now in that case, will you apply percentage on 50,000 or will you apply percentage on 47,000? So in that case, student, the percentage will be applied on 50,000. So if let's say the question says debtors realize 90%. So the 90% is on 50,000. So you'll be putting buy bank 50,000 into 90%, that comes out to 45,000. That actually means you were expecting doubtful debts. Basically, you were expecting that there will be loss when the money will be recovered to the extent of 3,000, for which you have already provided for earlier. However, the actual loss is 5,000. You provided for 3,000, however the actual loss is 5,000. So in that case, under the realization account, only 2,000 net loss will come out of this individual transaction. Okay. However, if you provide on 47,000, that is wrong. That's why The important thing is transfer always at the gross value, and your provision account is to be transferred separately, and if any percentage is given, that will be put on the gross value. Okay. The second thing is we have to treat goodwill like any other normal asset. It is not a case of a reconstitution like a normal admission, retirement, death, wherein we are going to make revaluation account. In that case, we learn, generally we say that if any goodwill is appearing in the books, because that's a self-generated goodwill, it cannot be shown, and you have to write it off in the old ratio. However, in this case, the goodwill is just like any other asset, because we are selling our business, the firm is getting dissolved. So goodwill, just like any other asset, will be transferred to the realization account. If later on we get any money by the sale of business, if we are selling it to any other person, and that other person is ready to give us a particular amount for the goodwill, that is the receipt amount. Okay. So goodwill is just like any other asset. Transfer the goodwill to realization account by passing the entry, and the entry is normal, that is realization account to goodwill. So that is was entry number 1. I made a specific mention only because of the fact, because generally whenever we see goodwill, we say write off in the old ratio. However, in this case, it is just like any other normal asset, so we have to transfer it to realization account. The third one is, if any asset is assigned for settlement of any liability. That actually means that you have actually given any asset for the settlement of a liability. That means you are not going to sell an asset, or that means also you are not going to pay off a liability. So in that case, student, in that case, what we are supposed to do, we only transfer these to the realization account with no further effect. What does that mean? Let us take an example. So on the asset side, let us say there is a stock appearing at 80,000, and on the liability side there is a creditor appearing 1 lakh. I have only taken a particular value. Obviously in the balance sheet there will be more items. Now what we are supposed to do, first of all, we will be transferring to stock 80,000 and will transferring by creditors 1 lakh. With that, your accounts get closed of stock and creditor respectively. And the question says, the stock have been given to the creditors for basically, let's say 1 lakh. Means the creditors have actually accepted stock worth 80,000 for 1 lakh, because the liability due was 1 lakh. So they have actually accepted because they think that this stock is actually worth 1 lakh. So is this a kind of profit to you? The answer is yes, because for settlement of a liability of 1 lakh, you have actually given an item which worth only 80,000 students. So it is actually a profit. And I am saying, don't do anything. You need not to do anything. So how the profit is coming? The profit is coming only by the transfer of these items. So if you will see, when we have transferred to stock 80 and by creditors 1 lakh, obviously your credit side is higher by 20,000. So automatically your realization profit will come, because your effective entry is nothing. If I have transfer, basically if I have not transferred, so I would have passing an entry, creditor account debit 1 lakh, to stock 80,000, to profit 20,000. So that is what is coming out here also. We are not supposed to do anything if any asset is given for settlement of any liability. In that case, nothing is to be done. We just need to transfer, no further effect. However, it may be possible. Just moving further, the question said that the stock worth 80,000 was given to the creditors and they have accepted it for, let's say, 95,000. So there is a remaining creditors of 5,000 which you will pay off. So you will be putting to bank 5,000. Okay, you will be putting to bank 5,000. Or if, let's say, the question said the stock worth 70,000 was given to the creditors and they have accepted it for 1 lakh. That means here there is a profit of 30,000 effectively. So you have given a stock worth 70,000 and the creditors have accepted for 1 lakh. In that case, you are not going to put any entry for this, but your balance stock of 10,000 will be sold and you will be putting buy bank for that. You will be putting buy bank for the remaining stock. So for that particular segment where any asset is being transferred for settlement of any liability, we just need to transfer the asset and the liability in your first 2 entries. After that, there is no further effect. However, if after giving of the asset there is still liability due, that has to be paid off. Or if after the basically giving of an asset, still there is some asset part being left because you have given a part of the asset, in that case the remaining asset will obviously be sold off and we are going to get the money again. Okay, but for the particular event of assignment of an asset to for a particular liability, no further entries should pass except for the transfer to the realization account in a normal scenario. Then is the last point, that is, what if the question is silent and the question is not giving you for an asset or a liability how much is realized, how much is paid for. So if the question is silent on the payment of liabilities and realization of assets, in that case for liabilities what we do, we pay full payment. So if let's say there is a creditor appearing of 50,000, the question is not mentioning you how much amount you have paid. What we are supposed to do, we are supposed to pay 50,000 full amount. We will not obviously assume that we have not paid any amount to the creditor. So we will assume full payment is made. However, for the assets, it actually depends on the nature and value of asset. You must have learned in your basically preliminary classes, let's say at your plus 2 level, that for asset we generally realize nil value. However, student, it actually depends on the nature of the asset and the value of the asset. So if let's say there is a machinery being given of 5 lakh and the question is not telling you that for how much amount it was sold. Now in that case, it is obviously does not make any sense that there was a machinery of 5 lakh and we are not assuming it at any value. So there is a options coming up for the assets. Assume full value realize, we can assume the full value realize. So that means 5 lakh full realize. The option 2 is assume nil value realize. We generally consider nil value for those assets basically which does not realize any amount. So like goodwill, obviously because no one is going to pay for the reputation of your firm because you have decided to shut down your business. Or if there is any prepaid expenses appearing because you have just made the payment of the current year expense in the last year only. So that's a prepaid expense. So effectively the party will not be going to reimburse you for that. So for that assets, it obviously makes a logical sense that you assume nil value. However, for significant asset, it is better that you assume full value. So whatever the assumption we are going to do, we have to write our assumption in the exam. So write your assumption. Write your assumption very clearly, whatever assumption you have taken for any asset. So for the asset, it actually depends on the nature of the asset and the value of the asset. So if there is a significant value, you cannot ignore that amount, obviously. And also we have to see the nature of the asset. Let's say there is a machinery, stock, debtors. So obviously certain amount will be realized. However, if there is a goodwill or a prepaid expense, we can assume to be a nil value. So this was all about the normal dissolution, where we learned about the accounting perspective, what all entries to be passed, how the account is to made. The important account is obviously your realization account, along with the certain notes which I have discussed with you. So this was all about the realization account. Hope you have understood, students. Now we are going to discuss further. Thank you.